There's a Steam Deck problem. Let me explain. When I had this is the Nintendo Switch OLED, I wanted this, my Steam Deck OLED, to be this, like Super Nintendo Switch. But now that I have this, the Nintendo Switch 2, I want my Nintendo Switch 2 to function like a Steam Deck. Yeah, you told me so. Now, the reason for this isn't because this is not good. I love doing this, by the way. This is so much fun. This is great. It's, the Steam Deck ruined me as a gamer. And I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine. He's like, you're a PC gamer now. And I'm like, I don't know if it's as much of a PC gamer as I am control freak. Just plain and simple, a control freak. And by control freak, I guess I would more simply say more like someone who wants to be able to adjust settings. You see, when I first got the Nintendo Switch 2, it was perfect. It was amazing. It was the most magical thing I've ever gotten in my life, and my obsessive behavior was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I've already talked about that. We don't need to keep going. But what quickly happened was this absence. I felt this absence, the reason why I did lifting sports, not throwing sports, this absence of control that existed with the device. That absence led me to feel a little bit cheated, a little bit shortchanged. And now people online are like, JD, you're being impatient. Dev kits just went out. Yes, you're right. I am being impatient. Because I don't have to be patient. I don't have to wait. I really don't have to wait. Here, get in close for a second. I have everything at my fingertips at all times with something like the Steam Deck. And so the reason why I say something along the lines of like, don't get a Steam Deck, it's gonna ruin your gaming, is because it gives you control. Something that myself, someone who's been playing on console my whole life, has never had. Control. How crazy would it be if I started juggling? I can't juggle. I'm not even gonna pretend to juggle. Now that control I'm looking for, I don't think is anything crazy. In fact, I think it's perfectly normal as someone who wants to play video games my way. And in wanting to play video games my way, simply put, I just want to be able to play games that look consistent across the board. And playing games like Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, all these games, they don't consistently look the same across the board. And for me, it has nothing to do with, oh, I need to play the best looking thing at all times, because I'm playing games like Octopath Traveler or Tactics Ogre. It's that I want the upgraded piece of hardware I have, my Super Switch, to function and look at least consistent with the one I had before, the Switch. And what I was experiencing in playing those games was just a mismatched resolution, 720 to 1080. It just doesn't look as... Now, this is where the patience come in. JD, just be patient. Dev kits didn't go out till just recently. You're absolutely right. Dev kits didn't go out till just recently, and it's very likely because it would be a missed opportunity for them not to update it. But here's the rub. I don't have to wait. And the idea of one device to rule them all was a fallacy. I love that word, fallacy. Was something that I was looking forward to, but realized very quickly that one device to rule them all comes with some major sacrifices. Those sacrifices are, I don't have control over those updates. I don't have control over what's going to happen. That same kind of sacrifice was something that was very, very well brought to my mind very well by my best buddy. He said, hey, you were a console gamer. You didn't care before. And I'm like, you're right. I didn't care before. But I've been given the opportunity to make sure that when I'm playing a game, it will match the value proposition that it has suggested. That when I play a game that is supposed to function stable and look good enough, that it will indeed do that. And so when I had an Asus ROG Ally X, I didn't have to wait for, let's say, my Halo game to look better at 1080 than it did at 800p. When I had the Lenovo Legion Go for 15 minutes, I didn't have to wait for a patch to update it over to the Lenovo Legion Go. I could just play the game. Now, it wasn't the most stable because it was indeed Windows that was running everything, but still, I didn't have to wait for the patches to come out. This is the thing that I'm realizing with the Switch 2, also known as the Super Switch in my circles, the Super Switch that got me to acquire a Steam Deck again. Now get in real close for this one. Part of the reason why this guy right here, the AeroPress, is so much fun is that when it's time in the next 15 seconds for me to press out, I get to push my coffee through this little tiny thing and create a puck. It's going to be a delicious, yummy coffee puck. My favorite. AeroPresses are great. They're like 30 or 40 bucks. I'd love to be sponsored by AeroPress. I'm not, but for like 30 or 40 bucks, you can have a really, really good cup of coffee. And you can also make iced coffee, which is really fun. But this right here is the fun part. Oh, am I spilling? I'm not spilling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm spilling. I don't care. Oh, I'm spilling. This is my veg-tan mouse pad that is so filled with coffee rings. So someone on Discord made a really good observation. Like, we don't even know who you are, dude. Like, you sell stuff, you say you're gonna do stuff, you don't do it. There's no consistency. How can anyone follow you? You're so right, dude. You're so right. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. I'm outwardly processing things and making decisions. Whether they're good or bad, I'm making them publicly. So yes, the Steam Deck has been acquired, right? We're not going to define this channel by any. But in talking about it more practically and sipping on this delicious coffee, I think that the combination between a Steam Deck and a delicious, yummy Switch product is a good combination for me. One I was trying to avoid. I was genuinely trying to avoid this. The reason I was trying to avoid it was I thought they were redundant in a lot of ways. I look at the Steam Deck and I'm like, oh, I don't need to go and have a Steam Deck because the Switch 2 is going to be able to play all the games I want to play. But then I see how the Switch 2's rollout is happening and how Nintendo is handling some of the stuff with the game key cards. Let's just talk about it for a second. I personally don't have anything wrong with game key cards. I don't care that game key cards exist because I will not purchase them. I'm not being forced to purchase them because on a game key card exists nothing other than a verification code that tells me that the game can be played. I have to download the full copy of the game like I do on my PlayStation. Okay, that's nothing crazy for me. And if it doesn't exist, then I'm just gonna buy it digitally. Everything's fine. When I purchase a game, I don't resell it. I've mentioned this before. I purchase consoles and resell them, but I don't purchase games and resell them. And so that doesn't bother me. But looking at the future of the way games are going to be handled on the Nintendo Switch and how all this stuff is happening, I can read the writing on the walls. The Nintendo Switch as a whole is changing. The landscape of gaming has changed tremendously, and we're seeing how this is all panning out. When I got the Nintendo Switch 2, the transition from the 1 to the 2 wasn't seamless. And I'm not saying that Nintendo titles are suffering from this, although there are a couple that I feel like need to get some work. Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Engage itself is a beautiful game. But when you have hyper insane anti-aliasing on a 720 image and then you stretch that anti-aliasing to a 1080p image, you get both blurriness and sharpness at the same time. Not desirable. But again, this isn't about tech specs. This isn't about technical specifications, which is tech specs if you didn't know what tech spec meant. This is about practicality and usability. And when I sit down to play a game on my Nintendo Switch 2, I want to know that the games I purchase, like Suikoden and all these other ones, are going to transfer over immediately would be nice. If they don't, they're going to happen in a timely fashion, which I don't know. But I don't have to function that way. I can run a 2-system ordeal, which isn't absurd to think about, and because of how unbelievably well put together and packaged the Steam Deck is, it has completely ruined any patience I may have for the other solution, which is just wait for them to drop an update, which, get in here real quick, that's fine. I don't have to, and you don't either, and if you do wait, then great. There's nothing wrong with waiting. But I realized, as I was sitting, forcing myself to try and enjoy a third-party title that hasn't received an update yet, I realized that my wish list in the eShop, which is, I think, better now, was sitting full of games I already owned on, you said it with me, folks, the Steam Deck. And those games function great on the Steam Deck. And the reason why they function great on the Steam Deck is because they're already set up to do just what they're supposed to do. And they do it phenomenally. And so when I want to go and play a game like Blasphemous, which I'm enjoying, or First Kazan, I'm naming some pretty heavy hitters, or even go and play Elden Ring, I don't have to wait for a re-release on the Switch 2, I don't have to do any of that stuff, I already own it. That's kind of special to me. And when I thought that, one device in the bag to rule them all, I'm going to use this to finish this out. When it comes to the perfect bag, it doesn't exist. I think the GR1 is the closest I can get to a perfect bag, but if I'm being honest with you, it's missing a couple things. It's missing maybe another compartment, and GR2 does it, but then it gets too wide, it's not the right shape, it's a little too tight, a little uncomfortable. It's missing this, that, and the other. It has the sunglasses pouch, but now I don't have a bladder pass through. It isn't the perfect bag, but it's good enough. it's also not my only bag. I have more than one bag. And so when it comes to video games, the sentiment is true. Use what you have, enjoy what you have. But also, Steam Decks are better than I thought. You know, let me be the lesson, right? Let me be the lesson. You don't be the lesson, let me be the lesson. The lesson is, if you're gonna buy a Steam Deck again, make sure you lose $0 on it. And it's possible. Just buy it from someone who is okay with selling it really cheap. Play more and be kind. See you around.